record on this computer. So now we're recording. Okay. So I'll bring up the screen. Well, I will if I can find it. Okay, hold on. Where is it? There it is. Okay. All right, there's our prayer. Looks like Dave got here. Bill, can you read that okay?
Yes, I can.
All right, why don't you pray that prayer for us?
Yep. The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Also with you.
Let us pray. Almighty and ever-living God, ruler of all things in heaven and earth, hear our prayers for the parish family. Strengthen the faithful, arouse the careless, and restore the penitent. Grant us all things necessary for our common life, and bring us all to be of one heart and mind within your holy church, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. So here's our agenda for tonight. And if you have anything to add, let me know. We'll start with the Bible study. Then we have to accept minutes from our last meeting and the annual meeting as well. Treasurer's report and approval to withdraw some money from the DIF. A little bit about the retreat, and the business we have is to elect a people's warden, a clerk, and talk about our commissions. So there's really not too much on there for this meeting, and hopefully it'll be fairly short because we're going to have another meeting this month as well for the retreat. So I didn't want to make the retreat really long, so that's the reason we have this meeting tonight. Okay, anybody have anything else to add to the agenda? Okay, minutes. No, sorry, Bible study. Let me get back to that. All right, our Bible study is Isaiah 58. This is one of the texts that we read on Ash Wednesday. And, you know, in Ash Wednesday, we're starting to think about Lent and what practices we might have on Lent, like fasting. So the reading is about fasting. This is just a little portion of the reading that we have. So would someone like to read this? Peter, would you like to read it? By the way, we'll read it first, and then we'll just say what came to mind, or what word or phrase came to mind, and then we'll read it a second time, and then we'll do the questions. So Peter, go ahead.
Okay. Isaiah 58, 4b through 9b. Such fasting as you do today will not make your voice heard on high. Is such the fast that I choose, a day to humble oneself? Is it to bow down the head like a bulrush, and to lie in sackcloth and ashes? Will you call this a fast, a day acceptable to the Lord? Is not this the fast that I choose, to loose the bonds of injustice, to undo the thongs of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, and to break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and bring the homeless poor into your house? When you see the naked, to cover them, and not to hide yourself from your own kin?
Okay, let's just share a word or a phrase that came to mind when we heard this read. What word
My
or
kin
phrase?
just walked away.
I'm thinking, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I think someone was talking, but I can't hear you.
It was
Okay.
Carolyn.
That was me, and I'm talking to Emily too. She says the word freedom got to her, and I've got her on the cell phone so she can talk to you.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. I just,
Yeah.
the oppressed is something that just hit me, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Let the oppressed go free. The same thing struck me.
Okay.
I think also that the very first line, such fasting as you do today will not make your voice heard on high. We need to keep that in mind. It is not to be something that we stand out there and pontificate. Oh, look at me.
Exactly.
I was struck by bringing the homeless poor into your house because I remember trying to do that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's very difficult, I think, it's really hard for me to see the homeless people holding their signs up out in the street, especially now that it's snowing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It kind of puts a nice perspective on giving up chocolate, and kind of letting people know that I'm not eating desserts or giving up chocolate, and kind of the more meaningful aspect would be the second paragraph, as far as taking steps to care for those in need.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It seems to be a point that the fast that is being looked for is a spiritual fast and not a physical or materialistic one. It's the type of fast that would follow us into the next life.
Yeah.
Well said.
I think I'm on.
Let's read it a second time. Let's see. Esther, would you like to read it the second time?
Sure. Such fasting as you two do today will not make your voice heard on high. Is such the fast that I choose a day to humble oneself? Is it to bow down the head like a bulrush and to lie in sackcloth and ashes? Will you call this a fast, a day acceptable to the Lord? Is not this the fast that I choose? To loose the bonds of injustice, to undo the thongs of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, and to break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house? When you see the naked, to cover them and not to hide yourself from your own kin?
Thank you. So number one, what does Isaiah say is wrong with the people's fasting?
I think there's two issues. One is making sure that everybody notices how you're suffering during Lent.
Yeah.
And the second thing is putting some action where your words are, because prayers and good thoughts don't do a heck of a lot if you're hungry and homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sort of got me back to the gospel where the Pharisees would come in covered, their faces would all be gray and covered with ash, and where Jesus said, don't do that. Put oil on and clean yourself and come in all looking good. The fast is not to show other people. The fast is for you internally and to go out and do something with it.
Yeah, that's right. So number two, there's a shift between the first paragraph and the second paragraph. How does Isaiah shift the perspective on fasting?
It goes from your personal show of how wonderful you are to actual fasting into your neighborhood, into your community, into your society.
Yeah.
I recall that during this time, everything that they're being told in the second paragraph to do potentially puts the person at risk to be considered unclean. You don't touch the hungry because you don't know how spiritually clean you are. You don't touch the oppressed, because often the oppressed were not the Jewish folks at the time that this was written. And so this is specifically saying it doesn't matter if they're Jewish, you need to go help them. You need to go do this, and that's the fast you need to do. But that goes against what they've been taught up to this point, which is, you know, don't touch those people, they're unclean.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what does this tell us about what we might do for our practice in Lent?
I think reading it the second time, it just, the two ways of going about fasting can definitely support each other. So I think the giving up chocolate, the giving up things, and maybe letting people know about it, but if it brings an individual's just kind of with that deprivation, it kind of allows an individual to be closer to the kind of the word, the hand of God, that is then translated into action, then that's fine. So if the personal deprivation that you've chosen to do leads to the action, it kind of is, it's all good. But that's not an end in itself, the first part.
So we might do both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Good.
he's really saying that fasting doesn't have to be giving up food or giving up something, but fasting is giving up your life to do something different with it, to change the way you behave.
Yep.
And that's your fast.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one year that Jesse, instead of giving something up, he read for an hour a day out of the Bible.
Wow.
And so instead of giving something up in the sense of giving something up, he gave his time to read more into what was written. He might have skipped over a little bit once it got into the chronological ancestral section, but just a little.
Pretty good.
That's what I was getting out of it too. In a way, it's what I'm reading is it's less about giving something up than it is about taking something on in helping other people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe find some way to help people in social service agency or an act of kindness or reaching out to somebody. Yeah. Good. Good.
Bill,
Yeah.
what is your passcode? Do you know it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Why?
Well, because Emily thinks she can get in if we can find out what the passcode is. And
There is no passcode for this one.
there is no passcode?
Oh,
She doesn't need a passcode.
Okay,
It's the address
just the address. Okay.
for the 595 number.
You've got the
844-1631.
yeah, she's got that.
Yeah, okay, I did that and it said no.
Oh, she's in now.
Oh, you're in. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Wait a minute.
Oh, well, I can hear her voice anyway.
Yeah. Oh, okay, but we don't see her. Okay.
Turn on your
Is she
video.
a Participants, Bill?
What?
Is she on the participants list?
Okay, just a sec.
No.
Nope.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Well, if I'm not on the list, then that's the problem as far as.
yeah, that's where the issue is.
okay,
Did you
well,
click on the link in the email, Emily?
I sure did, yeah,
Oh,
and nothing happens.
it should bring you in.
yeah, it should. We did it this afternoon and she came right in and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
Emily, maybe get out of whatever you're in and try it again.
I've been doing that off and on here,
Oh, okay. You've tried everything.
pretty much.
Oh, blessed.
Rats.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna try this again and see what happens.
Okay.
We can mute her. I mean, I can mute us.
Okay. Well, okay. I think we've done that very well. Thank you for your comments on the Bible study. Next on our agenda is to accept the minutes from our last BC meeting which I think were sent out to you. I'm not sure if they were sent out to the new people or not. We got 5 new members. Did you get them?
I
Okay.
believe they were sent out to everybody. Yes.
Okay. So I think there was a couple of changes, a couple of corrections. I believe the date was wrong. So let me just, how do I do that? Okay. Let me make that correction here. It said the date was January 7th, but the date was actually January 14th. And it said we accepted the minutes of the January 2021 meeting, but that should have been the December 2021 meeting. So those are the corrections that I found.
I'll move to accept the minutes with the corrections that you've mentioned.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay, good. All in favor, raise your hand physically. Okay, it passes. Thank you. And-
Emily's in favor.
Okay, thank you, Carolyn. That reminds me, we need to have a clerk for this meeting. Was there someone who would be willing to be our clerk today? We have to elect a clerk also, but we just need a clerk for this meeting.
I'll do it.
Is that you, Dolores?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Normally I'd say yes, but with the kids, there's no way you'd get them, you know, until the next meeting.
Okay.
How many fingerprints would we get?
Carolyn, you're muted.
Are you recording?
Yeah, we're recording.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So Dolores said she'd take the minutes. Unless you want to. Would you like to, Carolyn? All right.
Go for it, Dolores.
Okay. Okay, so fairly simple so far. All right. I think the next thing is Jim's treasurer's report. You want to go, Jim?
Go get him, Jim.
My cat will let me. Yes. Pretty straightforward. We were basically, you know, we spent as much as we took in last month. Spending is light at the beginning of the year. Like I mentioned, it's a different looking report than I usually do because in the process of transitioning in QuickBooks to the nonprofit rather accounting methodology. So profit and loss will disappear because we're supposed to be a nonprofit.
Right.
And the reports look a little bit different. And the accounts, the assets will break down into restricted and unrestricted funds. So if people make a donation, we'll be able to track it by that those are restricted and intended for specific purposes as opposed to not. And so it helps facilitate that, but it takes a little while to set up. So until I'm successful at that, there'll be quick and dirty ones like this.
Okay, well, it had everything in it, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would move to accept that wonderful report. I was so impressed.
Yeah, it was a good one. Is there a
Yeah.
second? Is there a second on the motion? Is that a second?
Come on,
Second.
people.
Okay,
I second.
Loretta. Okay, thank you, Loretta. All right, is there any discussion? Anybody have questions for Jim?
Jim,
The other thing
one
was-
question. Would
Yeah.
it be advisable to have those members of our congregation who want to switch over to the electronic giving and haven't done so yet, maybe have a refresher course?
Sure. I've talked several people through it on the phone. It's actually pretty easy,
I know it is, but
but yeah.
okay.
All right. Okay. Everybody in favor of accepting the treasury's report, put your hand up physically. I think that is a yes. Motion passes. Okay. Jim, did you want to have a motion to approve the moving of that money?
Yeah, basically we fund the outreach that we do to the Lord's Diner. Chris Croson and I had an agreement that I would write the checks and wait for the market to peak and make the withdrawal at that time to pay back the checking account, so that we maximize the return and be the best keepers of the Lord's money that we can possibly be. So at the end of the year, I asked the diocese, if we could take some out, and they reminded me, oh, you need to have minutes from your BC saying that that's okay.
Yeah.
So I'd forgotten that because it had been 3 years since the last time we'd done it.
So moved.
Yeah.
So, John, did you have a question or something? John Stockwell?
No, I'm fine. We're past it.
Oh, okay. Let me bring it up here. We have, okay, where am I? For those of you who are new to this, let me explain. I know we have some new people on the BC, so we probably ought to explain this. The DIF is the Diocesan Investment Fund, and it's an investment fund that's run by the diocese. So we have quite a bit of money. Well, we used to have a lot of money in the Diocesan Investment Fund, and they invested for us and have been giving us very good returns. So we still have money invested in there, including 2 endowment funds. And one of those endowment funds, the funds are restricted for use on outreach projects that we participate in. So we can't give it to somebody who's doing social work unless we are physically helping. So the Lord's Neighborhood Diner, where we serve meals at St. Paul's in Bremerton, is one of those outreach activities that we participate in. We go there every couple of months when they're feeding people, which they're not right now. And so that's where we've been giving $100 a month to the Lord's Neighborhood Diner out of the funds from the outreach funds. So we need to withdraw $2,100. There's a total of $34,703 in that fund, and $13,308 is available for us to use. So that's kind of a little background.
And actually, technically, when I reported on the annual report and in the normal treasurer's reports that I'd given out before, I deduct the amount that the Diocesan Investment Fund Outreach Endowment owes our checking account.
Yeah.
So it's kind of invisible bookkeeping. The one I sent out today shows the true balance as of the end of December. It was $38,006, but $2,100 of that is owed to the checking account.
Yeah. So this is just kind of a little bookkeeping step that we have to approve. Right. All right. It's been
actually getting money.
Yeah. Okay. Our treasurer has moved it. So are there any more questions? All in favor, raise your hand. Yes, it passes. All right. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to share with us?
No, I'm good.
Okay, good. All right. Next thing on the agenda, BC retreat. Okay, let's see. Here we go. So for the new people on the Bishops Committee, every year we have a retreat early in the year, hopefully early in February. It's a little bit later this year. And the purpose of the retreat is to do some team building and to set some goals for the year. So I thought we would do that this Saturday, or the 20th rather, February 20th. And I don't know how long it's going to take. Usually we take pretty much the whole day, at least from 9 till 3 or 3 o'clock or so. Maybe we can do it in quite a bit less time, since we don't have the BC meeting in addition to it. So the first part is team building. We'll have some introductions, an icebreaker, that sort of thing. We'll do a Bible study. I will have a teaching, and then we'll review our commission descriptions and talk about all the commissions. We'll do a little bit of that tonight too. And then we'll have a goal setting session, set goals and go over the annual calendar. So do we want to try to do that all in one bite, or would you like to do some at 10 and some in the afternoon? What's your pleasure?
You know, I'm pretty much available all the time, but I have a little appointment at 9:20 with a vaccine. So I'm not sure if I can get back to my computer by 10 o'clock. I will try. They're pretty fast. So.
Yeah.
Well, that vaccine is the most important.
Yeah.
Yes, this is number 2, and then I'm free, I guess.
All right.
Good for you. Well, just whenever you get back, join us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I won't be able to join you for the retreat. It's a busy virtual event day for me. So I have 2 other prior commitments. So I can't squeeze in a third one. So
yeah,
sorry.
That's okay. Understood. Well, why don't we start at 10 and see how it goes, and hopefully we can get it done in one shot. If necessary, we can take a break. Would that be all right?
Sounds fine.
That's good.
Okay. Since it's on Zoom, we'll try to not take too long at it. All right. Okay, let's see here. Next on the agenda. Okay, we need to elect a People's Warden, clerk, and have a discussion about our commission. So one of the things that the bylaws say is that at the first meeting of the Bishops' Committee, the vicar is to appoint a Bishop's Warden. So I'm appointing Peter Stockwell as our Bishop's Warden for this year. Thank you, Peter.
Yay.
Hey, Peter.
Peter has done this before, so he's no stranger. Thank you, Peter.
That's not what everybody thinks.
Yeah.
So we need to elect a People's Warden. Oh, let me go down and share the duties here. Just a good refresher. This is what is in our current job descriptions. The Bishop's Warden oversees the smooth operations of the church through regular consultation with the vicar. Oops, let me share this, sorry. Oversees the smooth operations of the church through regular consultation with the vicar, awareness of the work of parish commissions and diocesan events, active participation in church functions, welcoming visitors, making announcements, and attendance at both services on occasion. The Bishop's Warden supports the following commissions and functions that concern administration and organization: stewardship and finance, new facilities, vicar, and environment. Then the People's Warden, and Penny has been our People's Warden for the last 2 years and doing a great job at it. People's Warden serves as liaison between congregants, Bishop's Committee, and priest, and addresses concerns and suggestions of parishioners regarding church matters. The People's Warden is responsible for conducting annually the Mutual Ministry Review. The People's Warden also supports the following commissions and functions that concern activities of the congregation and outreach to the greater community. Outreach, welcoming, parish life, faith formation, youth, and lay pastoral care. So, let me admit John again. Penny, are you willing to run for, oh, Esther has a question. Esther?
Yeah, I do have a question, yeah. What is a mutual ministry review?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Isn't that the survey that was sent out that said, hey, here are the skills that I have, here's what I can give to the church. And then everyone sent it back and.
Well, that is our time, talent, and treasure, or time and talent survey. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I'm
mutual,
sorry.
go ahead.
The mutual ministry review is basically our annual report card as to how we're doing as a bishop's committee.
And vicar.
And it did come out to every congregant, and we received a lot of them back. Not only was it sort of a multiple choice kind of a thing, but we also received a lot of written comments that were very, very valuable as they came in, because they've got a lot of suggestions, and that tells you how people are feeling.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the purpose of the mutual ministry review is to, review our ministry and see how we're doing, so that if there are any problems, they get addressed before they fester. So if people have issues about something, it's a chance for them to express that. Usually it's been pretty positive. And like Penny said, when we have written comments, those are usually more helpful than just checking a box. There's a lot of ways to do a mutual ministry review. One way is to do a survey, which we've done for several years. Another way is to have a consultant come in and work with the Bishops' Committee and do a little deeper series of questions and work through a process. So that's something we could do this year if we want to. But the Bishop's Warden, Penny, has been working with me on the mutual ministry review. She's done most of it. So Penny, you told me that you were willing to run again. Is that right?
I am, unless there's someone else that would prefer to do it.
Somebody have a burning desire to be our People's Warden?
Hey, Dave, I saw your head shake.
Left to right. Left to right.
Sprain something if you do it that hard.
Well, Penny has done a great job. She's just a natural for it. And people feel really comfortable talking with Penny. I think that's something you want to have in your People's Warden, that an approachable person. Yeah. All right. So to make it formal, all in favor of electing Penny as our People's Warden, put your hand up. Motion passes. Thank you, Penny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You're running under an alias, Penny. And you're a little...
Yeah, you're right. I've got an alias. I also answer to Mom and Hey You.
Oh, there you go.
That's right. Well, the next thing is electing a clerk. So let me read the responsibilities of the clerk. Oh, I've got to put this up again. All right. Now I have to say, I think this is kind of old, and I'm going to cross some things off because Linda does them now instead. But attends Bishops' Committee meetings, special parish meetings, and the annual meeting, and takes the minutes. Collects reports from all Bishop Committee members, the treasurers, the vicar, and emails them to Bishop Committee members before the meeting. And actually, Linda has been doing that. So I think we can just do that. Sends out the minutes of each Bishops' Committee meeting, including formal reports or minutes, reports, and supplements to all Bishops' Committee members as soon as possible after each Bishop Committee meeting. Prior to the annual meeting, the clerk sends copies of the most recent Bishops' Committee monthly reports and the most recent Bishop Committee meeting minutes, plus the Bishop Committee job description and commission descriptions to nominees for the Bishops' Committee. And I think Linda's been doing that too. So we can scratch that one off. So it's really take the minutes and send them out. So that's the job. Carolyn Sorrell did a wonderful job for us last year. Thank you, Carolyn. And she was not a member of the BC. So that's actually kind of preferable in a way, because if you're a member of the BC and you're trying to be part of the discussion and take the minutes, it gets complicated. So that's why I asked Carolyn if she'd like to be the clerk again.
I really appreciated getting the recording of it and being able to go back over it. So that's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. You wouldn't like to be our clerk again this year, would you?
Not particularly.
Okay. You did a lot of work for us. Okay. So we need a clerk.
I'd volunteer John, but I know he won't volunteer.
I'll do it.
Dolores?
I'll take that. Yes.
Okay.
Dolores, wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dolores. Anybody
You're
else?
welcome.
Anybody else want to run in competition for this job?
Yes, thank you, Dolores.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Dave's head again.
So all in favor of Dolores as our clerk, put up your hand quickly. Good. Motion passes. Thank you. All right. So I think we're moving right along here. Oops, sorry. A discussion of commissions. Now, I've got to, let's see, am I up there now? No, I'm not. Okay. Let me get the commissions up here. Come on. There they are. Okay, so I think I've got the commissions written down here. The bishop's warden usually does not have a commission because it's a big job being the bishop's warden. There's a commission for stewardship, one for pastoral care, one for outreach, for welcoming, communications, for faith formation, parish life, and environment. So last year, Penny did pastoral care in addition to being people's warden, which they kind of go together. Chelsea did communications, and Dave Peterson did environment. I don't know if you all want to continue on those, or would you like to choose another commission?
What does environment do?
Well, maybe we should go down through them. I've got them here, and we could, I think I do. We could go through them and read them. Would that be helpful?
Would to me, if it's not too much for others.
Okay. Now, where can I find those? I should have brought those up here. Okay.
I have them pulled up.
I've got them here.
Yeah, they were sent out.
Yeah, I did send them out. I think they're coming up on my screen. Yeah, here we are. Okay. So can you read those on the screen?
No, they're not up.
You didn't bring them up yet.
You're still in your PowerPoint.
Oh, gosh. Why is that? Okay. I will try again.
Another kitty. That's 3 so
Yeah.
far.
Okay, can you read them now?
There we are.
Yep. There.
Can you see them now? Okay. All right, so maybe we should, maybe someone can read these for me. Peter, would you like to give it a try or read a few of them anyway?
Okay, well, I've got them over on my other computer here, so
Okay,
I'll read from what we have. You want me to start with the Stewart and Finance?
yeah,
Stewardship? Okay, stewardship coordinates the organization of the time, talent, and treasure of the members of the congregation. This person provides leadership for the annual stewardship drive and oversight of the treasurers. And we do have two treasurers. People need, that probably should be explained.
yeah,
Jim Foley is the commissioner on that one because he's one of our treasurers.
yeah. These are kind of outdated, by the way.
They are a bit.
Yeah,
2018.
The Outreach Commission coordinates the sharing of our resources with the greater community through our participation plus distribution of funds. This may involve educating our communicants as to existing needs, how we might best share our resources, and encouraging everyone's involvement. And the commissioner on that last year was Blaine Morgan, who's no longer on the BC.
right.
Welcoming Committee coordinates aspects of how we greet every person to our church, especially inviting, orienting, incorporating, and transitioning newcomers to fully active members. We follow up with guests, provide welcome bags, coffee hour, pew cards, greeters, and coordinate newcomers events. The commissioner last year was me. I didn't have a whole lot to do.
No, when you don't have,
We had no parish
yeah,
working. Communications coordinates our internal and external communications such as publications, flyers, brochures, the newsletter, bulletins, internal church publicity, advertising, and the website. And Heather Karnacki was on that for a while. I don't know. She's not on the BCA anymore.
yeah, Chelsea did it last year, and she was especially trying to make sure we got things out on Instagram and Facebook. Now, the hospitality was
The
kind of,
Hospitality Commission is
yeah, it was kind of designed for Toby when we were planning on moving into the building. So I don't think we're going to have the Hospitality Commission now. We'll skip to faith
Faith
formation.
formation. Coordinates all aspects of our formation programs for both children and adults, including the Godly Play, Bible Study, Vacation Bible School, and other programs such as Cursillo, which is now known as Come and See, and Education for Ministry. Works with the vicar to coordinate scheduling of nursery workers, and we didn't have anybody in that one. And Parish Life plans, coordinates, and provides information about parish social activities such as the neighborhood ministry groups, Sunshine Fellowship, Lenten soup suppers, Tony's Trekkers, Epiphany Potluck, Shrove Tuesday Pancake Supper, summer picnics, Christmas cookie exchange, retreats, and special events, and helps with provision of lay pastoral care through oversight of the lay Eucharistic visitor program and oversight of the pastoral care team, scheduling monthly meetings to respond to pastoral care needs of the congregation, for example, calls, visits, care cards, meals, transportation.
I think we renamed that as pastoral care, didn't we, Penny? No?
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
remember.
Still noted there. Yeah, it did fall under what I was doing.
Yeah.
Although a lot of it runs by itself. I mean, the Sunshine Fellowship, the Tony's Trekkers, you know, a lot of that is well established and running well. So that wasn't anything that I was doing. And while the pastoral care team was active this past year, of course, the lay Eucharistic visitor was not.
Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
Sunshine Fellowship was not.
No,
We
it
didn't
wasn't.
have Lenten super suppers. So yeah, a lot of things had to go by the wayside for for the shutdown.
But there is a virtual Shrove Tuesday next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Environment. It coordinates the upkeep of the church facilities and grounds, maintenance, repairs, and cleaning, procedures, supplies, procures supplies necessary for these activities, including kitchen and restroom supplies, researches, solicits, and implements ideas of change to the physical environment which aid in the creation of a loving, welcoming space that is conducive to the personal growth in Christ and opening the congregation to the services of others. And actually, the environment was Dave Peterson.
Right. Right.
Yeah, this is actually 2018.
Yeah, these are old.
Yeah, they're very old.
Yeah.
New facilities oversees the construction of the new building, which did, event shelter, which is done, and the remodeling of the barn, which is coming. Right, John? Just nod your head. This includes working with the architect, contractor, plus county regarding permits, and the diocese regarding funding. There were 3 subcommittees to report capital campaign, transition, architectural design, and John oversaw that. Then we have St. Anthony's Youth, coordinates the youth activities as well as announces diocesan activities such as junior high youth churchmen, high school youth churchmen, and Episcopal youth churchmen with a vacant position. And we've gone over the warden positions.
Okay, so these are kind of the traditional way we've done things. Some of the positions require a lot more work than others. We don't have to have every commission every year. And it's possible for people to have joint commissioners if you want to share with somebody. So I don't know if we want to choose commissions tonight, or maybe we should just ask if there's any questions. Do people have questions about these commissions?
Well, we're going to work on these Saturday too, aren't we? On the 20th?
Yeah.
I would think Saturday would be better.
I
Okay.
actually do have one question, specifically about faith formation.
Yeah.
So you're kind of the overseer of all the stuff that goes on. How much not work in the sense of work, but like if somebody has a day job, how does that fit into that? Because I know the Bible studies are on Thursday during the day.
Yeah, right.
And so what's the expectation there? Because it's something I'm interested in, but after I'm hoping to be a full-time teacher come fall, not a stay-at-home mother. My sanity depends on this.
My sanity stays out of the classroom so you can have a place. And Bill, in the past, what we've tried to, on other vestries and BCs, is that the commissioners of each of these commissions is really an oversight. They're looking over to making sure that things are functioning. A commission can be put together and they can see that, but many of these positions, Julie, are for the idea of making sure things are running, and that there can be a group that is actually doing the commission work.
Yeah, the commissioner doesn't do it. They just make sure that it gets done. And a lot of these things are kind of self-running. I mean, I do the Vicar's Bible study, so the commissioner doesn't have to worry about that.
You could have a co-commissioner.
Yeah, could have a co-commissioner. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So since I won't be there on Saturday, I just want to say that I have some interest in outreach. I haven't done that before. I'd also have some interest in welcoming. So the welcoming and Bill, when I picked up the book at the church today, I mentioned to you, I would hope that post-COVID, and it'll probably be later in the year, that we have some big celebratory event for the whole congregation.
Yeah.
So it'd be welcoming back, but just something super special. That the welcoming commission could be involved with, kind of planning and kind of doing.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think everybody really wants to get together, and it could be a really big celebration, just a big bash, maybe in the summer when everyone feels, pretty safe. Yeah, good. Okay, so I guess we're going to divide up these commissions on Saturday, and you've got your pick in for either welcoming or outreach. Thank you.
And Julie, I don't know where Julie went. She's not on my screen, but
She's here.
when I was talking with her before, she had some ideas about Vacation Bible School and some interest in that area. So I don't know if that's something that.
Absolutely. My start actually started out with youth ministry. And so I very much want to see the Godly Play transition for some of these kiddos into something that is feasible, because we're not going to be able to compete with baseball on Sunday and things like that. But Vacation Bible Study, it's a way to bring in young families, but it's also a way to continue spiritual growth in a meaningful way, because a lot of the loss we're getting out of the church is because it's like they get to this point, they're like, okay, you're members, and then nothing. And that's kind of really important to continue that. And of course, I got 2 young kids, a little too young for Vacational Bible Study, but
Yeah. Well, good. Sounds like you've got some good ideas. Great. Other questions anybody has?
No, but I have another comment, because Dolores, I think, expressed to me the fact that she had been on a bishop's committee previously, not at St. Anthony's, but perhaps in Hawaii, Dolores. Where did
Yes.
you go?
Yes, nothing like this though. This is a far broader, more task,
Yeah.
but similar. So, I mean, I can help out too wherever needed. I'm pretty flexible.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, these job commissions, they sound pretty formal and well detailed, but they're not that hard.
Right.
Yeah.
I think if everybody worked together, we can accomplish anything at this point.
Yeah. And often that's what we do. We join together when we've got a big task coming up, like the church picnic or the stewardship event.
Or building a building.
Yeah. Yeah.
We really did come together.
We did.
Yeah.
I'd like to say one thing too, because I've been on the Bishops Committee, and the previous time that I was on the Bishops Committee, and keep in mind, I worked for the state of Washington, so this has got to be a factor in my head. But, I kept waiting for somebody to give me specific duties that I should do, outlined what I should do. And what I found out as time went on is your commission is what you make of it. And yes, you have certain responsibilities, but really you can take off and run with it. And I just think that can be important when you're new to the Bishops Committee to know that.
Yeah, thank you, Penny. All of us have our interests and our particular skills and gifts. So, I think it's good when we can do the things that interest us, like Julie was talking about, where she's got an interest, and things that we're skilled at. And, maybe let some of the other things slide for a year when somebody else can pick it up for the next year. So, yeah, do what works for you.
I'm really interested in adult education opportunities, and and I don't do kids, Jesse, at all. So I have no charisma for kids. I've proved that. But adult activities, I have I completed CFM or EFM, sorry. When it started out, ran into an old writing the other day from 1967 when I was part of the Christian family movement of the Roman Catholic Church, because I was living in Chicago, and in the neighborhood where I was, you were either a Catholic or a Jew. Those were the only options. So But adult education, I think, makes for a very rich experience for people. And any way that I can contribute in that, I'm more than willing to do that. I'm somewhat overeducated, so.
So I noticed, and this might just be something to think about before the 20th. So faith formation and youth, those two positions seem to have a lot of overlap, but also not a lot of not overlap. And so maybe something to think about, because it seems like Esther and I are kind of interested in education, but if I'm going to be honest, I'm not interested in anything older than 25.
Yeah.
And, Esther's looking a bit more for a mature population to get really.
Brady. No.
Maybe the thought is to kind of look at those two and see if they need to be kind of revisioned into kind of a older population, younger population.
Or working together,
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Both those are good ideas. We can massage these. Yeah, we'll talk about it on Saturday. We can massage these so that we get it so that it fits the people that we have and our interests. So yeah, good suggestions. Thank you.
Yeah, and there's something else now. I attend Bill's Bible study on Thursdays because I'm retired and because I can. But Julie, you're not alone in thinking that maybe a Bible study after hours or in the evening or something like that might be another option, because Cheryl Wright was another person who had requested that. So there's another thought to go on with it with Esther and with Julie.
Yeah, I had, the Bible study I was in for 5 or 6 or 7 years was one that was lay led. And we actually met on Sunday morning before between services, but there's no between right now. And maybe, if we're competing with baseball, I don't know what time of the day do they start baseball? Anyhow, it's a thought. I would love to see. The Thursday noon time is really awful for me, even though I am retired. So
I think one of the COVID experiences can open up possibilities. I know when I was working full time, I was interested in the Bible study. The Thursday one I could never attend. But post COVID, hopefully some of our educational programs could continue to be provided virtually. I think more people can do that now. So it just makes it more doable in terms of some time frames that would kind of meet everyone's needs.
I agree, Loretta. If for no other reason than the families that do have either littles or humans that are very dependent on them, it's hard to load them up and get out. Yep. And so, some of the Bible studies, even a Zoom version of Godly Play, something that can be done at home or videotape, or like this, there's options to keep it open even after COVID's done.
Yeah, that's something we've learned.
Good. Yeah. Well, there's that cat again.
She's my companion.
Yeah, I have no idea how many. The number of people who have cats. There's one on the 6 o'clock news hour, PBS. One of their Washington reporters has a cat that is always there. And, other Zoom meetings that I go to are graced by numerous cats, and so far I've counted 3 here. Maybe there's more.
Yep, it's just part of the team.
There you go.
Oh, Loretta, there's Luke.
Okay, well, there's a dog.
Yeah. Nice. Good old Luke. Good job. Okay. Let's see. I should also say that, are you going, Dave? Oh, you're waving to Luke. Okay. I should also say that John Stockwell is kind of an ex officio member here because he's continuing on as our new facilities person because it seems to never end. Right, John?
Forever and ever.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
It's really helpful to have John on board because there's always issues about facilities.
Right.
And of course, Bill
Yeah.
Tate is also, since he's our deacon, he's welcome and glad. We're glad to have him here. He doesn't have a vote, but he has a voice, of course.
Absolutely.
Great.
Okay, that's all I have on the agenda. Are there other things people would like to go over?
Yeah. So I just want to thank Jim Foley for the really cool background that you're using. So that motivated me to play around, and I came up with my own cool background. So I don't know if anyone is interested. Do you know how, if you don't know how to do it, just on your screen where it says more, there are 3 dots. If you click on that, you click on virtual background, and then you choose the background that you want. So you too can have a cool background.
Oh, I would like to do that
If you want.
too. My computer.
Yeah, I can only do it on my other computer. This one doesn't do it.
Looks like Holly was the background there for a second.
Or the foreground.
Yeah, that's
The only
very
problem
cool.
I've seen is that sometimes it interferes with your, it interferes with the sound occasionally. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Was that a virtual? There you go.
Look. Captain Jim.
How did you do that, Jim?
Hmm.
You're muted, Jim.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Jim. Goodness gracious.
It's in the video filters, which is
Yeah,
right next
he's
to the
he's
background.
having fun with the filters.
Yep.
I think that one's best, Jim.
I think I should do my treasurer's report in this outfit.
There you go. I agree. I agree.
That's amazing. That's great.
Wow.
I had no idea. That's great,
Bill, you
Jim.
need something like that.
Yeah, I do.
It depends upon how old your laptop is. I have 2 laptops here. One of them's new, and the other one, this one I'm working on right now, can't do this background filters. Too
Yeah.
old. Kind of like me, but I do them anyway.
I just want to say the
We
new,
could filter you anytime, Peter.
to the new BC members, you can see how serious we are for all of our meetings.
Absolutely.
It's nice to know that I'm not my brother's keeper.
Oh, Jim, now you've got a halo.
He's out of control.
Have you got devil's horns too?
There's a lot of them on here.
Well, I see that Jessica
yeah.
is on board, and Jessica is a future BC member.
Yes.
There we go.
Hi, Jessica.
We have Jesse there too.
I see Jesse in the corner.
Hi
Yeah.
there.
Well, half of him.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
Okay, I think we've about finished this meeting. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say we've adjourned at 7:39 or something like that. And
Okay.
go in
All right.
peace.
And Bill, we'll have a discussion about this meeting devolving into frivolity.
Okay. All right.
Emily's working it. Emily is working on her computer. I think it may be the computer. So
Oh,
she's planning on being there on the 20th. So
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for being the
Okay, good.
liaison.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.